getting on to the final stages of this 300 TDI engine here, and I thought I'll film this because I have been doing bits and pieces of filming, as I mentioned. I had no sound. So I'll just give a quick rundown of what I actually found that was wrong with it. The clutch was shot, the bearing was knackered, and the facing was gone. I have some video of that I'll put together later. This was the vacuum pump. You can see how the face here is all worn. So consequently the cam lobes were worn as well. So put a new cam and that on. The seal for the camshaft hadn't been installed properly, and I think that must have been done recently because it had a new belt on, a new pulleys, it's had a kit on, but they put it in bad, and if you'd have started it up it would have spewed oil out all over the place. Again, I've got a video of that. All the rest, like I said, was just a matter of cleaning up. But what we're going to do today, oh yes, injectors. The injectors are not too hot. There's only two out of 4 that's acceptable. You could get away with the other 2 if you really wanted to, but because we haven't really spent a great deal of money on this, apart from cleaning and a few little odds and sods, then you know I think it's a good investment. And another thing which we've fitted, I'll show you later in another video. We've fitted all what they call them, silicone hoses when I get it splitted out, and it's a full engine set because these oil return pipes, especially this one and this one, do tend to get a bit, how do we say, knackered. Now the original replacement hose for this one, like from a genuine one, is really expensive, and the aftermarket ones are really cheap, and they only last about a year because they all start to get soft with the oil and they'll start to blow up. So I'm hoping these are good. Now this was a good kit. I'll do a better you know, discussion about that later, but they were really good, a good investment. I like those. So like I say, you can have a sort of, we'll have a swing around, do a twirl like Anthea. Oh, do a twirl. So we've got the new Valeo clutch on there, heavy duty clutch. That's good. All the hoses are on. All the hose clips are with the stainless steel. It looks quite a nice motor, you know. Sandblasted all the manifold off. I didn't paint it this time. I didn't bother with that. And like I say, all the core plugs have been changed. Pulleys, the water pump's good. Motor, alternator, power steering pump. They're all spinning freely. But the only thing it leaves us to do is the timing belt. Now I just put this on rough because I didn't have the flywheel on, and this is what we're going to get at now about the flywheel, because a lot of people have asked me about this, and I'll probably take the camera off and show you, because some people make a confusion, because if you're using the timing belt pin kit, you know, you get that little red box, this thing here that's got all the bits and pieces in, your actual timing pin itself can actually go in 2 positions. So let me just take this off here and I can show you, because we're very close to the mark. That's just Loctite. There's the mark. Can you see it? Yeah, you should be able to see it. Yeah, so there's the timing mark, but there is also another one here. It's about 90 degrees off, but it's a bigger slot. So you could actually get confused if you can't see. I mean, I can see everything here, but if you get the wrong one, well, you're into a lot of problems because your pin will be out. But you can double check this because the keyway should always be at the top. All right? The keyway is always at the top. So let's get set up and let's do this belt properly. So what I've done is I've turned the engine back a little bit. Now I'm going to put the pin in the hole. Like that. Now, see, you can't do this in your car, can you? I can. You probably can't see, but the keyway is at the top of here. Will it go any higher? Yeah, it's there. And, oh, I don't want to break my stand. You can see there's our marker for our cam that's got to line up with the pin here. Now, one of the most important things is to look at this dead square on. Don't look at it from the top, because you can actually be a tooth out. So I'm going to use my old torque wrench as a ratchet, and we're going to turn this in the direction of rotation. At least it has got some uses now. So here we go. Did you hear it click? We know now that the belt is in the right place. And lo and behold, look here. Can you see that bit? It's in line. Is our pump in line? Because I only just guessed this the other day. If it is, I'm going to leave the bloody thing. I'm not going to take it off again. I'll go and get the pin to put in the injector pump. Now you see that won't quite line up, but how far are we off? We need a 22mm spanner and the bolts should be, let's lift this up a bit. Is that better? Can you see that? Oh yeah, you should be able to see that. Now, did I slap those bolts on? Right, those are slapped off. Now, and there you go. Oh my God, I was absolutely right. Look at that. What a guess. I must have done this before. I'm going to torque those bolts down, and that is it. Now you're going to say, well, Mike, why don't you tighten it up to the factory settings, and like 1.6 or whatever it's supposed to be? But to be honest, I ain't going to bother with it, because that is nice. I'm just a bit confused if that's the right place. I think it is. Yeah, there. Yeah, that's the place. Now there is a bit of play on this when you tighten it up, so you want the pin exactly, but I'm not going to put the dial gauge on this engine. I'm just going to do it as stock standard. So let me tighten those bolts up, and then we'll tension the belt up, because I honestly just I thought it was about a tooth out. I'll be back in a minute. Right, back again. The tension for the bolts is 25 Newton meters, so we're going to tighten it up to 25. Progressively. Don't tighten this nut up. This nut here, don't touch that one. Before we tighten it properly, just going to make sure that that pin is nice in its snuggest place. You might just tighten, oh, that's it, right there. Now we can take our pins out. Don't forget to do the one at the back. This is why we went down to see JP one day, because I turned the engine over with it stuck in. I bet you've all done that. But fortunately, thanks to JP again, he machined the old pin out that snapped, and he made me some small pins I can just push in, just in case the same error occurs again, which it won't. Now, what you've got to do now, before we set the tension of the belt, we're going to turn it over twice to settle the belt. And again, we'll just do it with this big bar and adjust it here. Now I was just going to say the injectors are actually out, but it just popped out there. There goes another one. I haven't fastened him down, I just pushed him in to stop him up getting it. Oh, let's turn it up. There she goes. I've got some good compression in. And we can see by looking at the belt here, as you can see, it's not running forwards, so that's a good thing. I was just reading in the book about changing belts, and apparently they should be done every 60,000 miles. And it's not because the belt wears out, it's because the pulleys wear out. I didn't know that. These aren't rated for 120,000 miles, they're only rated for 60,000 miles. If you've got a pulley that's got the edges on here, get rid of them all. They're supposed to have no edges on this, but they're supposed to have a guide edge on here. So where are we up to now? Oh, we need to go another turn. This is the old belt. This is the old belt, but it was so new, and the rollers were new. When I took it off, I marked it with a crayon to show you which way it went on, but it wasn't, you know, all the lettering and everything's still on it, so there's no reason to really change it for that. So now we're up to our point again. I'm going to put our pin back in. Oh, we shot over there. I could have done with a smaller spring actually. It's more like a coil spring of a Defender. Right, let's bring it back. Now she's clicked. Clickety click. And with a bit of we're trying to get this back in. Let's do that. Oh, the one's popped out over there. And funnily enough, I had them set so I knew which one was which. Where's my pen gone? Oh yeah. So hopefully our pin will go in the hole. Can you see that? Lovely. So that's good. That's a good thing. Next thing, we're going to set the tension. So now we're going to tension the belt. We're going to remove our timing pin out the back. We're going to slacken off the nut if it went. Ooh, that's tight. There we go. Do we need to slacken that one off? I don't know. Probably not. I've done it anyway. 8mm socket. Back that off. That tensioner goes down to 0. And then we get hold of this cheap or nasty old torque wrench, which has an 11 mark on here. Now I'll put the camera back a bit so you can see this a bit clearly. You can anyway. So I'm going to put the tensioner in there as far vertical as possible. Oh, you still can't see, can you? Alright. And then we're going to turn that until it becomes 11 Newton meters, and that is it. It isn't much. So what we're going to do is just nip that a little bit. And then 45 Newton meters to tighten that one. And 45 Newton meters to get that one. My socket's stuck. A little ball thing. The adapter's stuck in there. Come on. There we go. Yeah, a little ball thing stuck in there. So that basically is it. Now look, that's 11 Newton meters. It isn't much at all. It isn't much at all. So I think what I might just do, just to be sure, I pin out. I'm going to turn it twice again. There goes the injectors again. And the other. And another. See, it doesn't matter where we are on the timing. There's the last one. It doesn't matter where we are on that, because let's just go put these injectors back in. Where's the other one go? There we go. If I'd have tightened the injectors up, it would have been a hell of a job trying to turn the engine over on the stand. Now, so all we need to do now is just check this again. Oh, in fact, it feels really, really nice. We'll back off the tensioner yet again. There we go. Yeah, you don't have to do that one. As long as that one's tightened up, this will pivot quite nicely. We'll put our adapter on to here. Swap over our Allen bit onto here. Set this up for 11. Just there. That's it, beer o'clock. Wasn't too bad, was it? But you see that when we first got this engine, it was tight. It was like a G-string, not ladies' G-string, but it was really far too tight. It didn't damage the belt in any way. Everything was kind of good. So now, put the cover on and start to build this up, and then that is about it. How's about that then, guys and girls? Just before I go, I'm going to fit the gasket on this engine, on this front cover. I want to show you something really interesting. I'm just going to fit it as it should go on, but I'm going to put a little bit of a smear of just grease on the back of it. It doesn't need sealer as such, because the bottom is kind of open, but it's just to keep it in place. I think we've mentioned before that this little notch here usually signifies that it's had the upgraded timing belt kit on. Didn't know that, did I? Well, you do now. Now, one thing is interesting, because this was a genuine kit, it comes with this. Get a load of that number. Right? You know what it is? It's that. What the hell does that make? Land Rover had a special gasket, the same thickness as the gasket on the outside, and that goes here. So that the cover doesn't warp. What will they think of next?